Hello again, I'm Coyote Jack, and yes, a good one seeing a company such as Nintendo getting the pushback they fucking deserves, and it looks like, yeah, they're not having at this moment a very good time. But this time, of course, it's just a scratch. We need a scratch into making it into a fucking black hole so they can finally feel they weight of their own decisions. And just starting with this one because we have three from fuck ups from Nintendo. Yeah, no, even considering what they have done, we are starting to see at least some small results. So why don't we start with this one because we called it out that Metroid Prime 4 had all the bad stuff there that we have noticed from other games, and this is the result. Metroid Prime 4 has only achieved a Tears of Dread sales in Japan after 2 weeks. Japan is starting to reject Nintendo exclusives. That's insane to me. Not because it's bad, it's good, but because never in my wildest dreams will see a pushback like this. Because even when it comes to Nintendo, there is a strong presence in Japan. But let's continue. The Metroid series has never been on the Nintendo's big sellers. It currently sits at 17th among the company's major franchises, behind Wario, Duck Hunt, and Game & Watch. It's no wonder Nintendo's social media efforts were quieter in the lead up to Metroid Prime 4. But hey, at the end of the day, it's an exclusive, it should have sold more, but looks like that's not the case. While marketing certainly ramped up with adverts popping out all over the globe, it seems like Nintendo was chasing a lost cause. In its second week in Japan, Metro Prime 4 sold only 3,000 physical units, far fewer than the previous Metro title, than fewer than many other Switch titles. And I have to tell you this because it's a fucking game geeker, it's fake physical media. I'm going to hold that for later. So let's continue. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond sales are already struggling in Japan. Japan has never been Metroid Prime dominant market. Gamers in the country typically don't favor FPS games and thus the Prime series has always struggled there. Metroid Prime 4 sales might be a new low though. A new low. Oh man, so the only ones that were supporting this shit were the Nintendo cocks from the West. But that also means that Nintendo is going to start to betray the Japanese market even more. They're going to start doing the Sony moves just like they did when they backstabbed Japan in 2018. We are going to start slowly seeing cases like this because remember, this fucking corpus, at the end of the day, they're only going to hear what they want to listen to their ivory tower. Oh, so it means that Japan is not interested in those, but the other stuff, yes, like the Western stuff. Let's do more. Let's ditch all of the Japanese development. Yes, it's going to start slowly, but at this point, if this company keeps fucking up, I don't care. I want them to fail. As spotted by Genki GPN on Twitter, Metro Prime 4 has sold just 3,381 physical units in Japan in its second week, bringing its 2 week total physical sales to 32,382. There's a lot to unpack. It's still too fucking low, man. For Japan, even if this is too fucking low. Even if they are not that they are not interested in FPS, I have to call it bullshit because yeah, there is an audience there, but they have better stuff to play. Metroid Dread managed over 86,000 physical sales in Japan in the first week, with a further 22,000 in its second, bringing the in total week to a total of 180,000 units. That three times what Prime 4 has managed. Kirby Air Riders, the sequel to a non-overlooked GameCube game, sold around 240,000 physical units in Japan in the first 2 weeks. Donkey Kong Bonanza managed to 180,000 units in 2 weeks. In its first 2 weeks, Metroid Prime 4 sold fewer copies than Metroid Prime, and Metroid Prime 3 did in their first weeks in Japan. Of course, digital copies weren't a thing when those games were released, but it's not a good sign. Fucking exactly. And this is a sign that, hey, well, maybe your IPs are starting to wear enough, or it means that you spent money on development in when the market that you wanted to have attention you. They just flatline and man. Yes, Metro Prime 4's Beyond development was notoriously rocky. First revealed in 2017, development was restarted in 2019 with this developer changing to Retro Studios. It was 46 years before the game would see the light of today, releasing in December of current year. To continue on, naturally the development cost for Prime 4 would have been pretty hefty. And it's hard to imagine that the 32,000 cells is managed in Japan have even scratched the surface when it comes to recouping them. Problems with development, resetting the development itself. That word itself it should tell you that it's going to be very costly at economical level. Rebooting developments of every single time you hear something is because they fuck up in some way, and we saw it. And they wanted to rely on the fucking amiibos to unlock basic features just to make more money out of it. Because at least that's where they know where to make money by squeezing what remaining of their Nintendos. But yes, with physical media even, we were mentioning that they're not doing very good because it's fake physical media. And even the Nintendo has gone as far as to make exclusive games that only are game kickers from their first parties. So yes, imagine how they are struggling now with that. So we are having this article that proves that well, Nintendo has been receiving pushback. The Switch 2 put backups game keycards after leaking lower cost cartridges options. So they are backtracking from the decisions of making only game keycards moving forward. Because yeah, why would anyone even spend on making fake physical media? And even when it comes to console games, let's not fool ourselves. Even those attached to this fucking generation, even with the Sony ponies, they would rather have it in physical. They would rather have that in physical because of the feeling of owning something. But Nintendo destroyed that away immediately when they announced the game keycards. So you are not owning any sort of that stuff. You need to download the fucking game. And of course they are going to cost the same amount of money just as the digital storefront. Because of course, it's Nintendo. But we're seeing this. The Switch 2's data-free download enabling game keycards have proved controversial with players who worry about long-term ownership and access issues to their purchases. But they remained popular with publishers that want to save production costs on boxed Switch 2 game releases. Since game keycards don't include any of the expensive flash memory found on the standard Switch 2 cartridges. Now, though at least one publisher has publicly suggested that Nintendo is offering cheaper Switch 2 cartridge options with smaller storage capacities, lowering production costs in a way that could make full cartridge release more viable for many games on the console. For one part, it's true that there are going to be some games that they're not going to weigh too much, but they are kind of like those artistic style Metroidvania types. Yes, they're telling you, oh, well, now here's an option so you can actually have a sale because even like I already stated with third parties or well, of the ones that are still attached to console, they are still attached to physical media, and most of those cases that physical media that have lower cost compared to the fucking stuff from Nintendo. They're going to find a better deal in physical media even against all odds. And but well, from that part, at least you need to be required to have the data in the fucking disk. But now with the game keycards, they cost the same. You are not having ownership of anything, and we knew it full well from the start that the third parties were going to be the ones to be actually hit by this decision from Nintendo, because not only the ones having ownership of a Nintendo Switch wants to play only the exclusives from Nintendo. They still want physical media from third parties, or even some double A's or indies that even manage to get a hold of something of physical media. But when Nintendo decided to make a hardware device that is going to speed on the face of that, are you surprised we are seeing this result? We saw it. Sega were the first one to bitch when they offered Yakuza 0 Director's Cut as a game keycard. They saw that their sales in physical media were struggling because of that. Many third parties, even with the fucking lame ass gaming industry kneecapping themselves still, one selling point is physical media. And when they was still carried by the first Switch, suddenly, no, this is a game keycard. Yes, no wonder this is the result. Nintendo have fucking told everyone, maybe you should focus on other exclusives. Fuck everything else, despite they are encouraging them to spend time, money, and resources to develop a port for that fucking piece of plastic that is fucking expensive compared to a Steam Deck. Ah man, I'm enjoying this. I'm fucking enjoying seeing this. Like, yes, if they don't make an appeal for third party development to make the use of physical media, even at that point, people, also there are people doing the jump onto PC. Well, you have Stormfront that offers a way better deal. So continue on. Now, at least one publisher has publicly suggested that Nintendo is offering cheaper Switch 2 cartridges options with smaller storage capacities, lowering production costs in a way that could make a full cartridge release more viable for many games on the console. Early this week, R-Type Dimensions 3 publisher in games implying to customers that it could then switch from game keycards to a quote-unquote full physical cartridge for the retail version of the Switch 2 game without quote-unquote significantly raising manufacturing costs. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. Those additional costs will quote-unquote force to increase the retail price by at least 18 euros, about $20 in games brought at the time. That's a huge problem from the developers. Oh, Nintendo's making it expensive for us to develop. That's why we need to charge that on the consumer. Well, not that's a huge problem. I'm just not going to care. I'm not going to fucking care. Oh, so you opted for the cheap version that quote unquote was offered to you by Nintendo because, oh, yes, it means that I don't need to make the effort. That I'm going to participate in this charade of selling fake physical media. That's a huge problem. And that tells more about the developer itself. In a note that posted to social media early today, throughout the publisher said that quote unquote there is no better timing. 2 days ago Nintendo announced two new smaller cartridge storage capacities size for Nintendo Switch 2. This allows us to recalculate production in a way that wasn't possible before. So that's man, I'm getting fuck over here because even people were expecting from me a physical copy. And so the only option is digital. Yes. Even if people are very much comfortable with digital, as PC platform is the best example, still On Nintendo, on consoles, people are still attached to have physical games. You cut that off with that fake physical media. This is the result. And yes, they don't want us these parties to just going away. And I know there's still going to be a lot of them still attached to that console. But you know what they are also releasing on the Nintendo Switch 2? The original Nintendo Switch. So, oh man, yes, the Switch 2 is having the same fucking drama as when you see cross-gen games when they did the transition from PS4 to PS5, and the same shit for Xbox. But let's continue. As such, Inin said it has decided to replace the Genkin cards that they were going to be in the game retail box with full physical cartridges. That change will result in the game asking price from going by €10 or about $13. Due to still higher production costs in ink spending, still that's still less than at least 8 €15. Inning was speculatively quoting for the same change just 2 days ago. Dude, even for 2 fucking euros. For real, this is a huge problem. And in the same early pre-order, customers for R-Type Dimensions 3 won't have to pay the increase in price, essentially getting the full cartridge at no additional cost. Okay, so you and at this point it's not going to cost you. Yes, I keep saying it's a huge problem because they decided to do business with Nintendo and like I keep saying, sell themselves for this fucking charade. Whoops, just forget we said that, but In Games Ladder updated in its official blog to remove any reference to the new quote-unquote new smaller cartridge sizes. It previously said Nintendo quote-unquote had announced. The publisher also backtracked in on social media updates clarified that there has been no official announcement or confirmation from Nintendo concerning country storage capacities, but Nintendo can't something unring the bell at this point. Even if Nintendo wants to publicly disavow the change, in its initial announcement also aligned with the earlier rumors that Nintendo will be rolling out 16GB and 32GB Switch 2 game cartridges as an option alongside the 64GB cartridge that has been the only ones available thus far. The information in sharing suggests that those smaller cartridges options could cost a publisher $5 to $10 less than they would have paid for the older, higher capacity cartridges. That might not sound like much in the grand scheme of things, but it might be just enough to make the full physical release economically palatable for the Switch 2 publishers that can fit their game in a smaller memory footprint. But I would rather let them just let that device to run and release on PC only. That should be welcome for new gamers who aren't tired of seeing that quote-unquote game kicker notice on the front of their Switch 2 retailing packaging. I'm enjoying this. And yes, but they're going to cut corners. They're going to continue to cut corners. And just to end this one quickly, because we went way too long with this video. So, these companies still hold themselves off grid. So remember, right now they are selling their first party at $80. And when they announced the fucking console, they attached Mario Kart World for $10 less. But they're discontinuing that, so it was very, very limited. Now you have to pay those $80. Yes, this is Nintendo, man. This is fucking Nintendo great. So yeah, Switch to Mario Kart World bundle reportedly discontinued by Nintendo. And Nintendo appears to have discontinued production of its official Switch 2 Mario Kart World bundle. According to new retail information shared by Nintendo, an internal GameStop memo confirms that the bundle has reached the end of its life cycle and will no longer be manufactured, signaling a shift in how Nintendo plans to supply the next generation console moving forward. They're just going to make, oh yeah, this is a new edition, but doesn't have games. It's just a decorative. This is something that even kinda pisses me off. Even that trend is not new. It's not fucking new with consoles. But yeah, but at least those ones came with video games. Now we are seeing that Nintendo really wants to make all the money and make the narrative push to the investors that yes, we are making money Every paypick is paying the $80, and we are actually going to make line go up. The memo states this bundle's KU has now reached end of life cycle and additional units will no longer be produced. Further replenishment of Nintendo Switch 2 will be the base console. Ooh boy! It further notes that while its inventory remains available, the bundle should be recommended to customers due to its added value compared to purchasing the console and games separately. Once system stock is depleted, GameStop expects to carry only the standard Switch 2 hardware. There you fucking go, man. They really want to make line go up. What a fucking company. What a dog shit company this is, man. They are jumping on the levels of red compared to EA. Sweet Jesus Christ, bro. There you have it. More reasons to be clowning on this one. They think that right now it is not going to bite them in the ass because it's just a scratch. That scratch needs to get bigger and deeper. That's it. Thanks for watching and please take care.